Hello everybody. Now in this we will see how we can manage the virtual machines. Now before starting the management of virtual machine in Zen server, if you install the in the Zen server, if we install the Windows virtual machine, then first we should install the Zen tool into it. And if we don't install the Zen tool, we will not be able to cleanly shut down, reboot or suspend the virtual machines. Then also we cannot see the performance of the virtual machine in Zen Center. We are not able to migrate the virtual machine and we cannot create the quest snapshot or snapshot with the memory, or even we can't revert the snapshot also. Even we cannot adjust the number of CPUs in the running Linux VM. For Windows VM, anyhow we need to reboot it. Just like we see here, we install this Windows 8 machine here, and I have not installed the Zen tool. In the console you can see it is installed and it is running, but VM Zen tool is not installed here. So you can see here we don't have a shutdown option. This is clean shutdown, clean reboot, and this suspend option is not available. We can only do the force shutdown or force reboot. For normal shutdown we have to go to the virtual machine and then we can do the normal shutdown from here. Otherwise we can only do it from Zen Center. We can only do the force shutdown or force reboot. So to make sure these options are available, we have to install the Zen tool. And also we are not able to see the performance. If you go to the performance tab, you can see here the performance of the VM is not showing. It is saying you need to install the Zen server tool first. So first you should install the Zen server tool. So for installing the Zen server tool, we have to add the Zen server tool ISO file into this virtual machine DVD drive. So this is the DVD drive of the virtual machine. We can drop down here and we can see the Zen server tool here, and there is a Zen tool ISO file. So we should have to select this. Now when you select this, it will appear in your virtual machine. It will appear in your virtual, and also we can go to general tab and the option shows here that the virtualization is stated. It says the Zen server tool not installed. So we can even click from here also, and it will do what? It will give you the option. It will give you the option to install Zen server tool, and when you click on it, it is going to add the ISO image of Zen server tool into your virtual machine. Okay, now once it is added, we can see here it is added. Now we can go to the virtual machine and we can install the Zen server tool as we install any other software. So you can see it is in here. We can go on to double click and we can run the installer, and we can install just like we install the other softwares. We can do we can start the installation wizard and then follow the easy steps and then complete the installation. After the installation, it is going to be rebooted and then your Zen server tool will be installed. And it is started. It will take a little time and then it will reboot. Now we can see the installation is finished. We can click on done. And now when you see here up, there is no force shutdown and force reboot. Now we have normal shutdown, normal reboot, and also we have option to suspend the machine. When we go to performance, we can see the performance of your virtual machine also. We have these things after installing the Zen server tool. And when you go to general tab, it says that it is optimized, and because this Zen server tool is already installed. In the console you have other option, like you have here option to add the DVDs or ISO files, whatever we have in the ISO library we can connect to the local DVD drive also. Then we have option to send all control delete to the virtual machine, and it is not showing the full virtual machine, so we can scale it by clicking on this. We can send control all delete to the virtual machine. Then we can go for full screen, press Ctrl Enter to exit the full screen mode, and then we can undock this terminal also, and it will come out from Zen Center. And if you want to go back, then we can click on redock and it will go back to Zen Center. So this is what installing the Zen server tool. After that you will get these options: normal shutdown, normal reboot, and suspend, performance of counter you can see, and also we can do take the snapshot and all that. Now the next thing is copy the virtual machine. Now copying the virtual machine, we copy the virtual machine to do the easy deployment. Like we want to create multiple virtual machines very quickly, then we can copy one virtual machine and create another one. We can copy the virtual machine, but only we can copy after shutting down the virtual machine. We cannot copy the running machine. We have to shut down the virtual machine to copy the virtual machine, and we can deploy multiple other virtual machines by copying it. But if you are copying a Windows machine, then first you have to prepare the Windows machine for copying, because in Windows machine the machine operating system has a unique ID. That ID will be clone, it will be like a same ID. If we copy one virtual machine, write the clone of the other one virtual machine, then the ID will remain same, so it will conflict of those IDs. So if we want to copy Windows machine, then we have to first prepare the machine for copying. So for example, this is Windows machine we have, this is Windows machine we have, and we want to copy these Windows machines. Then what we have to first prepare these Windows machine for copying. And for preparing the Windows machine, we have option sysprep. We have a sysprep tool available in Windows machine that we can run to prepare the Windows machine and clear the Windows unique ID. So if you want, then you can go to type run on. In a run we can type sysprep. It actually opens the folder where we have the sysprep utility. It is under C Windows System 32 in a sysprep directory, and this is the sysprep utility. So you have to double click to run this utility, and then you can do what? You can select to enter the system out of the box experience. So it will become what? It will become a fresh machine and generalize. So it will do what? It will generalize and it will do recreate the system ID. Now how you want to do after generalizing the machine? You want to reboot it or you want to shut it down? So we can select whatever we want. Like for example, we want to copy the machine, so we want this machine to be shut down, because the running machine will not able to do the copy. If I right click on this, I don't have any option to copy the virtual machine. But if the machine is not running, like this machine, I have option to copy the virtual machine. So first we select this sysprep, go to shut down the machine after the sysprepping, and then what? We can copy this virtual machine and create multiple copies of this virtual machine. This is for Windows machine. For Linux machine, we can directly shut down the machine and go for copy. It will do what this sysprep is working now. It will take little time and then shut down the machine for it. Now after doing the sysprep, the machine is shut down because we selected to shut down it. Now what we can do, we can right click on it and we can select the copy, and this option only available when we have shut down the virtual machine. Now when you select copy, you have option to select two options for copy. The two mode we have for copy: fast clone and full clone. And you can make any name of your virtual machine. The description is there, you can make a description, but there is two modes we can choose from: fast clone and full copy. Now when you select the full copy, it will give you the option to select the storage where you want to create. Right now the virtual machine storage is in this storage. It is a shared storage, so it is giving this it is not giving this option because it is already in that. So the original machine. Now we can create this machine in any other storage of this server 1 or server 2 or in this network storage. Now what is the fast clone? Fast clone do what? It will clone the existing VM using the storage level fast disk clone operation. Now what is the difference between the full and fast copy? So the full copy will do what? It will copy the full hard disk of the virtual machine. Now in a storage, when we have a virtual machine, so the virtual machine storage, we have two things. One is the storage disk, the virtual disk, and the other disk is the metadata disk. This metadata disk, this base disk contains the basic main data, and this one contains the additional informations. Now when we do the full copy, it will do what? It will copy the full virtual disk and metadata both and create the new file which contains the base disk and metadata both for the new copy virtual machine. This is full copy. So this will be the full copy. Now it will take little time to create also, but both machines will be independent. They will not depend on any other. But when you use the fast clone, it will do what? It will use the base disk for both machines. That means this is our machine here. It has a base disk and the metadata disk. So it will do what? This is for this machine. Now it will do what? It will only create the metadata disk for new virtual machine, the copy virtual machine. This one has the new information, but still it uses the same base disk. That means both the virtual machines, the one which we have, the original one and the copy one, both will use the same base disk. The metadata disk for both the virtual machines will be different. It will save the disk space, but it will reduce a little performance, and these both machines depending on the same base disk. So if something happened to this base disk, then even both machines will not work. But it will save the space what we have. So depending on our requirement, we can choose from fast clone or full copy. Whatever fast copy will do create quickly, and also it will save some disk space for you, so you can go for that, and it will create the copy. Okay, now we have the copy of this Windows 8 machine. Now this one was the original, this one is the copy we have created. We can start and we can see it is same as what that Windows 8 which we have here. Now this is for easy deployment. We can deploy multiple machines easily by just copying one to other. Now when we start this, it will start like a fresh machine because we did the sysprep, and sysprep do what? It refresh the system ID and make it like a fresh machine. And it is going to start like it is starting first time after the installation. And as you see, you have to do the setting again because it is like the new machine we have. So you have to complete these options, the product key and all that. But the softwares and applications which we have in that, it will remain there. So as you see, this one is the copy one, and then this one is the fresh one now, because we remove the as a unique ID by using the sysprem. But the applications will remain there. As you can see, the Zen server tool is still installed, and we can see these shutdown, reboot and suspend option is available because the Zen server tool is still there. If you have any other software installed, it will also remain there. So this is the option we have for easy deployment. So if we want to deploy multiple machines quickly, then we can do copy the machines. Other option we have for deployment is to create the virtual machine template. This is also for quick deployment. So we can do what? We can create the template for easy deployment. For example, we install the machine first, and then we want whatever the configuration we want, whatever the application we want, we can just install everything, and then we can convert this machine into a template, so that we can use this template to create multiple other machines. By default, we have the default templates. We can see into the objects, we can see here that templates available. So these are the templates available by default we have in Zen server, and we can create our own template. Now to create our own template, as I said, we can install the operating system, we can install whatever the application configuration, whatever we want, and then we shut down the machine and right click on that machine. Before shutdown, you can't have that option. Shut down the machine and we'll select convert to template, and it will do what? It will convert this virtual machine to a template. So we can select convert to template, and it says, are you sure you want to convert it? Because after converting it to template, this machine will not be available. So we create the machine only for the template first. Create the machine, install the operating system, install the applications, whatever the applications we want, and just convert the machine into template like this. And now you can see it is showing a different machine, is showing in a different icon and different way. It is a template. Now this machine, you cannot start it, you cannot start the machine, there is no option for this. Now this machine becomes the template. Now we can use this template to create new virtual machines, and you can see it is a different color because this is the template which we created. So as you see in the templates, these are the default templates we have in a different color, and this is the custom template which we created. Now we can use this template to create new virtual machines. For example, when you want to create the new virtual machine, so you will select, you want to create new virtual machine here, and you can see all the default templates available, and instead of the default template, we will select the new virtual, the new template which we have created, and then we'll go on to select next. The template name, you can change the name whatever you like. Let's say for example, this is my Windows 3 machine. We can add the description whatever you want. Then you can see it will take the settings from the default template. The template was connected to the CD drive, so it is also connected. You want to connect to some other thing, you can connect it. Then you can go next. The template, now we have option to select the server where you want to host this, this virtual machine. We have two servers available, so we can select either one of these server. These two servers we can select because there is these two servers in the pool. If you have no pool, then you will see only one server here. You can select what server you want to host this virtual machine. It depends on the memory available. So you can select the server based on the memory, and then these virtual CPU, memory, these all options are taken from the template. You can change these settings also. Then the virtual machine hard disk is stored into the shared storage here, so we can also put it here, or we can change the location, or we can change the location of the storage, or we can add more virtual disk also. Then it is going to use the storage level fast disk cloning. That means the same which we used to do the copy. When we copy the virtual machine, it uses the same thing, and it do what? The base disk will remain as it is, and it will create new metadata disk for the new changes. If you don't want like this, so you can remove this checkbox, and it will create a new fresh, the full copy of this virtual machine. And then network option, same as the template, it is selecting how many network adapters you want. By default it is 1 because in the template it is 1. Then this is the settings we have selected. When you create now, it is going to create, and you want to start the virtual machine, then you can start it also. And it is going to create the machine by using this template. Now when you start that virtual machine, it is going to be, everything will be available same as this template have. So this option is also there. With copy, we can use this option to create machine quickly, deploy the machine quickly. It is cloning here, we can see the progress here, and it is taking time because I selected the full copy. Full copy will take a little time. Then after that we can do one more things, like we can do move the virtual machine or export the virtual machine. Now moving the virtual machine means we can move the virtual machine storage from one storage repository to other storage repository. For example, if the machine is located in the local storage, so you can move it to the shared storage, or if you want to move it from one shared storage to other shared storage, then you can move it, and only we can do it because when the machine is not running. So if you want to move it, so like for example this machine, if I check the storage, so the storage of the virtual machine is in iSCSI storage, it is the shared storage. So if you want, then you can move it to other storage also. So if you want, then right click and you select the move, and it gives you the option that you can move from which storage. Right now it is under this storage, so I cannot move it here. So I can move it onto this NFS data storage, I can move it to local storage of Zen server 2 or Zen server 1. You can see the free and available memories also. So wherever you want, you can just move it. So select the storage and just click on move. So it is going to move from local storage to the network storage, share storage, or share storage to the local storage, wherever you want. Now moving the virtual machine is only the moving the virtual machine data and metadata. Now we can do export the virtual machine also. Now exporting the virtual machine is for the backup. It is kind of backup we take for the virtual machine. And we can also export the virtual machine so that we can move the virtual machine from one server to other server, or other Zen server implementation. Or even we can move it from Zen server to VMware environment or Hyper-V environment. For that we can do export the virtual machine. So we can export the virtual machine if you want that virtual machine to move from one environment to other environment, or also we can move the virtual machine from one Zen server implementation to other Zen server implementation. And also we can export this virtual machine for taking as a backup. So for example, this virtual machine I want to export, so I will right click on it and select the export option. Now when you select the export option, it opens the wizard, and here you can see what name will be for this export. Then you can choose the location. Now first of all, when you choose the location, it is going to choose the location where you are running this Zen center. So if you are running the Zen center in your Windows 10 machine or whatever the machine you are running this Zen center, it is going to store this virtual machine, it is going to export this virtual machine on there. So you can select from browse, you can see these here local storages, local drives, the drives of your Zen center where your Zen center is running. Otherwise you have an option to select network also. So if you want, then you can select the network storage also. Then wherever you want, you can just select it, you can browse the location, you can select the folder, and then it is going to export the machine there. Then you have option to select the format. Now you have two formats here. For exporting the virtual machine, you have OVA. It is the universal form of the virtual machine. It is virtualization, like overall virtualization platform, or this is only for Zen server virtualization platform. So if suppose we want to export this virtual machine and want to import it on the other environment of Hyper-V or VMware, then we can use this option. Or if we want to only export then import the virtual machine into the Zen server, other Zen server environment, then we can use this option. With this option, you don't have multiple options available. As you see, when I select this one, you can see other options available here. and when you select this option you will see only one option. After this you will select and export the virtual machine. Now if I select this one and say next, so I get these options available. Then when I select this option and say next, I get only this one option. So this option will be used when you want to export the machine from your Zen server environment and you want to import the machine into other type of environment like other virtualized environment, for example Hyper-V or Zen server. And with this format, we can export in a single file, we can export multiple virtual machines also. But this file format, we can only export single virtual machine. Let's say for example, I select this one and I go next. I have option to select the virtual machine we want to export. So one machine is already selected because I right click on that machine. I want to select this one. I can select and I can go next. But if I select this option and I go next and I try to select the other machine, you see it is saying only one VM may be selected to export in XVA format. To select multiple, you have to go for this OVF or OVA package. Then when you select this option, you get the other options also. You get to choose multiple virtual machines, and then when you press next, you get the option to add the user license agreement documentation option also. You can add a text file here. You can add a text file here for this license agreement, so that whenever someone try to import it, then it will see the license agreement accordingly. Then you have some advanced options here, like you can create the manifest, you can create the certificate, security certificate for this in virtual export, and then whenever the other one import it, it will be securely. Then you can convert this, create the OVA package, that is single file, or you can compress it also. You can create it in a single file and compress it also. Then when you go next, you have option to transfer the machine with network adapter. You can select the network adapter also of your Zen server, that from which adapter you want to export it. Then also you can choose the IP address also, static or dynamic, for that adapter. After that, you can just select finish and verify the export on completion. So you can select this to verify it. Or when you select this option, you don't get any advanced options. If you choose this format, it will simply allow you to select the machine and then finish, and it is start this exporting the virtual machine. Now exporting the virtual machine, it will take a lot of time. So when you click it, it will take a lot of time to export the virtual machine, depending on the size of the virtual machine and the number of virtual machines you have selected. Then the machines which you have exported, you can import it on the other environment like Hyper-V or Hyper-V or VMware environment. And if you want to import it into Zen server, then right click on the Zen server and select the import. It will open again the wizard. Then you have to select the file. Now when you select the file, it will choose if it is their OVA file, or you have a XVA file, or even you can import the virtual disk of Hyper-V or VMware also. So you can import the virtual machine of Hyper-V or VMware also. So if you have any virtual machines from VMware, then you can import it here also, like this VMDK file. So you can open it to import it, but when you import the other format, other environment, then you have to fix the operating system. Sometime it won't work. You have to do it multiple times. Sometime it fails or something. Then you have to define the name for your VM here after exporting. Like for example, it is going to be my server 2. Then what will be the processor, memory, you can select. Then where you want to put it, into which server, Zen server 1, Zen server 2, or if you have a single server. Right now we are in pool, so we are having an option of multiple servers, and if you have a single server, then you will get only the single server option. Then where you want to put the storage of that machine, you can select the storage, either it is your network storage or local storage. Right now it is saying virtual storage, no SR available with enough free space, because this machine is very big. So it is saying that there is no space available for this, because the size of this VMDK, this VMware virtual machine is very big. So you need to have a machine storage available for that also. Now we don't have a space, so it is not giving me next option. But if you have a space, then you can go on to select next, then you go on to select the networking option, and then you have to fix up the operating system. Otherwise it is not going to run, because it is coming from the other operating system. And then transfer settings like what IP address and all that, and then when you finish, it will start importing the virtual machine. So this is what importing and exporting it is. We can take it like a backup, or we want to import and export between Zen server and other environment of virtualization. So these are some management options we have for managing the virtual machines of in Zen server. So we have option to copy the virtual machine for easy deployment. We can also create the templates of the virtual machine for easy deployment. Then we can also export the virtual machine, move the storage of the virtual machine from one server to other server also.